Hello and welcome back to Side by Side with D. It has been, I think we started the kitchen renovation on March 10th and today is April 8th. So it's been about a month since we have filmed anything, well, even more than a month because during that week we were filming us packing up the old kitchen and moving out of it. So it's been more than a month since we filmed an unedited cook-along, and I do miss it so much. I know that I've been doing, I'm just gonna grab an apron. I've been doing the shorts every day, and that's been really fun, but I miss the purpose of this channel. I miss cooking things and working towards a goal and building up our recipe notebook and learning new techniques and exploring new options and things like that. So I'm really excited to get back to doing that. And today we're actually going to be doing, I feel like, a food that is one of everyone's favorites. In the sun. Okay, we're gonna be doing a food that is literally a classic. Everyone loves it. It's a favorite. Pancakes, buttermilk pancakes specifically. I have been making this buttermilk pancake recipe for a while now, and while I know that we like to focus on things that we've never done before, I wanted to come on here and do it because I feel like if you can know how to make a good pancake from scratch, you can make yourself a nice, complete breakfast. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. We got some bacon, we got some eggs, we have some fruit, we have a green veggie. We're gonna saute up a little bit of kale, and we're going to be getting some pancakes going. So, as always, I don't have any ingredients out. We need to go ahead and do that. Yep. Literally the first page. So this was the notebook that I was using before to write down recipes. And then my friend got me this one, and now I've been transferring everything into this one. So we're definitely going to do that today. So let's see. We need 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, 1 1/4 cup. Okay, so here's the thing. I never buy buttermilk. I happen to have it this month, but I typically never buy it. I only bought it because I saw it in Whole Foods for $2. And I was like, okay, yeah, like, sure, why not? But I never have it. But I always have milk and I always have vinegar. So if you don't have buttermilk, that is perfectly fine. You can use 1 1/4 cup of milk and about 1 tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of vinegar. What you want to see is when you put that vinegar in, that it slowly starts to kind of curdle. Like even if you pull up the spoon, you'll see small little specks of the curdles on the spoon, even if it's not like big chunks. And you're going to let that sit for 10 minutes. So if you're going to be making this recipe and you don't have buttermilk and you need to make buttermilk, get 1 1/4 cup of milk, 1 to 2 tablespoons of vinegar, let it sit for 10 minutes, and then you can gather all the other ingredients to put aside for when the milk is ready. On here I have 1 tablespoon of vanilla paste, but you can just substitute that for vanilla extract. I don't have vanilla paste right now. I have a teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 of a teaspoon of ground cloves, 1/4 of a teaspoon of nutmeg, 3 tablespoons of melted butter, and 1 large egg. So we're gonna go ahead and get all of our ingredients out. You don't have to pause it to hear me repeat all this stuff, so you can go, as I'm grabbing everything, I will be shouting it out. So let's get you back down so we can see everything that we need. And it sounds like a lot, and it is a lot. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's 13 ingredients, but it's only like 5 steps, and it only takes like 10 minutes. Okay. So I need 1 cup of flour, and I'm just gonna use this. I usually keep this down here so I don't have to keep reaching up for the big bin. So we're gonna get our flour. We need brown sugar. I make my brown sugar. I don't have any made up right now, so we're gonna go ahead and grab that so we can just make up a little bit. We need molasses and white sugar for that. We also need eggs. And while I'm here, I'm gonna grab some bacon because I plan on making a complete breakfast. So I'm gonna have some bacon with my pancakes, as well as eggs. We need butter. So we have our eggs, we have our bacon, we have our butter, and our buttermilk. If you're not using buttermilk, you can go ahead and just grab regular butter at this point. I mean, regular milk at this point, not regular butter. I think that's it for the fridge. Baking powder and baking soda. So we're gonna grab some, I have a Mexican vanilla, but I literally have only a tiny little drop left, so I'm gonna say that. We're going to grab some ground cloves. I'm gonna grab some nutmeg. I have a bigger vanilla over there, which you'll see in a second. And the cinnamon is over there as well as the salt. Okay. So I have kosher salt and I also have fine sea salt. I'm gonna go with the fine sea salt. We have our vanilla and we have our cinnamon. Okay, we have all of our ingredients out. Let's just move this for a second because we'll write it at the end. Regular butter, sugar, and the first thing I need to do is make up some brown sugar. If you already have brown sugar, you can completely skip this step. It's not gonna take long, it's gonna take me just a second. Wait for me. But basically what I'll do is I'll just add some sugar in here. And I don't have it measured out. Like I said before, I think this is a cup. I could verify it. I will verify it at some point, but just not this moment. And let's get a whisk. And I do it right in the canister. I don't do it in a separate bowl to make another bowl to pour it in this bowl. I don't have any real measurements for this. I just kind of pour it until I get the rich color that I'm looking for. So I can already tell I'm gonna need more molasses because I like to keep my made up brown sugar in between dark brown sugar and light brown sugar. And right now, this is very much light brown sugar. And so I'm just gonna add a little bit more, and then we're gonna rinse our hands and get in there with our hands. You have to get in there with your hands because you really have to break it up, because then it starts to kind of feel like kinetic sand. And I feel like as great as a whisk is and a fork, you really can't get a even distribution of the molasses until you get in there with your hands and really break it down. So we're just gonna go and break it up a little bit. See, now it's all like an even color, and that's what we want. Let's get all of our ingredients together. Now we need 1 cup of all-purpose flour. So we have our 1 cup. We need 2 tablespoons of regular sugar. We need 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. I think in the beginning of the video when I read it out, I said 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, but it's 2. So the sugars are equal. We need a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. We need 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder. That's 2.5. We need 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And we're gonna continue with the dry ingredients before we put in any wet ingredients. So we're gonna do a teaspoon of cinnamon. Now I'm not gonna measure that. Me personally, I'm just gonna. But if you need a measurement, it's a teaspoon. You can also omit the cinnamon if you're not somebody who likes the cinnamon pancake flavor. 1/4 a teaspoon of ground clove. 1/4 a teaspoon of nutmeg. And we're just gonna whisk this all together. Now what you don't wanna do is you don't wanna go in there and start breaking up that brown sugar. I love when it has those little bits and pieces in it because I feel like it creates kind of like these little pockets or these little, you ever went to like a restaurant and you even got like the Belgian waffles or like those rock candy type pancakes? I feel like it kind of creates that same flavor or texture. So I don't like to go in and just break it up. I do like to leave it where it looks kind of like little peas, little crumbles. So now we need some melted butter, and for that we are going to get a separate measuring cup. We need 8 tablespoons of melted butter. So I have 1, 2, 3. I'm just gonna pop this in the microwave for about 30 seconds. While that's going, we do need to add our egg and our buttermilk. So it's going to be 1 1/4 cup of buttermilk. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna whisk this just enough to get that egg broken up. We don't want to add the hot butter on top of it because I don't want anything to start to curdle. So just until it's incorporated and we see that that egg has separated. Okay, so now we're gonna add our butter. And adding the butter in the batter makes it buttery, but it also gives it like a silky, you also get like a silky batter, but it just makes the pancakes just really moist. Okay, so that's it. We don't want to keep mixing. We're gonna actually let this sit for about 10 minutes. You want to give the baking soda and the baking powder some time to activate. It's gonna create like some nice bubbles in there, and then we're gonna get it going. If you're using a stainless steel pan like me, you can go ahead and set that on low just to get the pan heating up. I'm gonna move on to the other breakfast items such as the bacon and the eggs, and I'll take you along for that with me. Guys, luckily I came over here. I almost forgot the vanilla paste. So I'm just gonna add a splash of this in there, but the recipe says 1 tablespoon. So you can put a tablespoon of vanilla, but if you're vanilla girly like me, pour it until your heart's content. So this is the pan we're gonna be making our pancakes in. It's the perfect size. It's gonna fill up the entire thing, so we're not gonna get a nice, even cook throughout the pancake. So we're just gonna set that on a low setting. And in this one, we're gonna make our bacon. We're actually not gonna preheat this one because we wanna start our bacon in a cold pan. Whenever I'm cooking bacon, I like to take scissors and I like to cut the bacon pieces in half because I feel like it gives it a better, even cook on the bacon. Because, let's take a look and see. If I were to put the bacon in, you see how like it kind of falls on the edges of the pan? I feel like I like my bacon cooked. I don't like the chewy bacon. I don't like the bacon that still has fat that hasn't been rendered. And so I don't like when those pieces feel or look like they're not evenly cooked. So I like to cut mine so I make sure that every piece of that bacon is touching the pan. And then we're just gonna set this on and scramble some eggs. Okay, we have our bacon going. I don't know if you can see, I kind of don't want to move it. Let's see if I can just put the camera down for a second. There's some bubbles that are happening here, which is what we want. So, I'm just gonna move this to the side and we're gonna scramble some eggs. Oh, actually, we're gonna flip our bacon. So one thing for me, I know a lot of people like to make bacon in the oven. I personally love my bacon cooked on the stove. And I think the perfect way to achieve that is to constantly flip the bacon back and forth. Don't wait till it's cooked on one side and then try to flip it to the other side, because 9 times out of 10 you're gonna burn it or you're gonna get an uneven cook. You're gonna keep flipping it, literally like every 30, 45 seconds. Kind of like a mix between scrambled eggs and fried eggs. So it's like I want the yolk to cover a surface and not just be in the middle, but I don't want to scramble it all together. So that's why I usually break the yolk in the pan. I guess I like to get a little bit of everything in every bite. What we'll do is once we take the bacon out, we'll leave the grease in and we'll just fry these eggs in there. And And I think it's time to start our pancakes. So we're gonna test this pan real quick by sprinkling in some water. And it's gonna indicate whether or not this pan is ready. You see how it's bouncing off of that? I don't know the entire science behind it, but I know that with stainless steel, something about warming it up, getting the steel to a certain temperature or something like that, so it kind of creates a non-stick coating. And I'm gonna get some butter in here. I'm gonna move it off just for a second so it doesn't burn. And it looks like my bacon is ready. So after I pour in the pancake batter, we'll get that out. This is how I like my bacon. Nice and cooked and crispy. We're gonna give this pancake a nice flip. And that is what we wanna see. A nice beautiful crust all throughout. Some nice crispy edges. Can you? I don't know if you can hear that, but that is a pancake. Because most of the cooking already happened on the first side, we're just waiting to get this side cooked, and it is. So we're gonna take it off and we're gonna get our next pancake in. And we're gonna do that until all of the pancakes are done. It should make about between, depending on the size of your pan, you can make anywhere between 8 to 10 pancakes. Evenly distributing the butter also has a lot to do with that crust. So you want to take the time to swirl that around. There we go. And while the pancakes are still going, a part of me feels like a breakfast isn't complete without a fruit. So we're gonna get some mango cracked. What I like to do is just take this little knife. I think this is a paring knife. I don't know what kind of knife this is. It's a little, oh, yep, it's a paring knife. It's a 9cm knife. So I like to just go along the sides of the mango, go all the way down. So you just have the fleshy inside. You're gonna make one line, 2 lines, you're making 3 rows. Then you're just gonna go across. And then you get some nice fruit. You can keep the pit, you'll eat the pit, and then you'll just eat the inside of the mango. These are called champagne mangoes. They have them at Whole Foods all the time. They're usually like 4 mangoes for $5. And they're really, really good. They don't actually taste like champagne. I don't know. I don't know why they're called champagne mangoes. I don't know if it's because of the color. I don't know. But they're really, really good. So. And then you can just eat the pit as a snack until your food's ready. And this is our complete breakfast. It is actually 1 o'clock, so it's not even breakfast time anymore. But I'm gonna eat this like it's nobody's business. Our pancakes are ready. Let's dive in and take a bite. Let's take a taste test. With pancakes like these, who needs syrup? I mean, honestly. The buttermilk is there. The sweetness is there. You get the nice buttery, rich flavor. If you even wanted to take it a step up, with that 3 tablespoons of butter, you could also brown it for a little bit, just until it gets some nice little bits and it gets golden, just to cook out the milk solids. That way you can get like a more earthy kind of umami type of flavor. But these are great. I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of my pancakes and enjoy my breakfast. But now I'm about to dismiss y'all. Class is still in session. Okay, we have 1 cup of AP flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, we have 2½ teaspoons of baking powder, we have 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, we have 1 1/4 cup of buttermilk. In parentheses, I'm just gonna put add 2 tablespoons to milk to make buttermilk and let sit for 10 minutes. Add 1 to 2 tablespoons of vinegar to milk and let sit for 10 minutes. You need a tablespoon of vanilla paste, a teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon ground clove, 3 tablespoons of melted butter, and 1 large egg. Now, the method is pretty easy. I'm gonna put that over here. We're gonna put combine dry ingredients, add all other ingredients, mix until combined, set aside for 10 minutes or until bubbles appear. And that's it. Okay, now we can go enjoy our breakfast. Thank you so much for joining me in the kitchen. Thank you so much for joining me for my first video back in the kitchen, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.